In today's video, I'm going to go through some brilliant strengthening exercises that you can do at home for your hips, your back, your core, and your upper body as well with your gym ball. And do make sure you hang around until the end of the video where I'll go through exactly how many of each exercise you're hoping to achieve when we're working on strength. Hey there, it's Luke from Genuine Physio, where we bring you honest, evidence-based information and education to get you guys back on the road to recovery. If you are new to the channel, then do hit that subscribe button. And if you like what you see, then please do give us a thumbs up. It really helps. And with all that out of the way, let's get going. We're going to start off with some of the more easy exercises that you can do on the gym ball. And then towards the end of the video, there'll be some more advanced exercises that you can try. We're going to get the back nice and warm with some pelvic tilts. So you're going to tilt your hips forwards and backwards, creating an arch in your lower back and then squeezing your back into the floor. This exercise is called prone hip extension. So get the ball nice and comfortably underneath your tummy. You'll have your hands and feet in contact with the ground and then squeeze your glutes nice and tight whilst you slowly lift your leg nice and straight off the floor and slowly back down again. If you did want to progress the exercise, you could make it harder by lifting one leg and then the opposite arm at the same time. With either version, you'd alternate sides. The next exercise is called a dorsal raise. So you're going to start off in a kneeling position, place the ball underneath your tummy, and then you're going to lean over it, and you can either place your hands behind your head or next to your ears. Then you're going to extend it through your lumbar and your thoracic spine, and this will get the same muscle groups working that you need when you're lifting things up off the floor. If that was too easy for you and you did want to make it harder, then you can complete the exercise with a straight leg. Do find something solid to pop your feet against because it is quite difficult to balance on the ball otherwise. And you'll do the same thing. Extend through the lower and the middle part of your back, bring the elbows back and squeeze your shoulder blades together. I'm going to show you a few different variations of the bridge that you can do now, and there are quite a few that you can do with the ball. The easiest one will be on your back with the ball underneath your calves. You'll push through your calves and raise your hips off the floor, really squeezing in those tummy muscles and those glutes until you've got a nice straight line all the way from your thigh down towards your trunk. A progression of this would be to move the ball further down the leg. So you'll start off with the ball underneath your feet and then you'll do the same thing, really squeezing your tummy muscles, squeezing your glutes and then push through your heels and raise your hips off the floor. You'll really feel this burning in the glutes and also in the hamstrings. A slightly more dynamic version would be to start off with the ball underneath your heels, and then you can bring the ball towards you by bending your knees and then push the ball away from you by straightening your knees. And again, you're looking for that lovely straight top line from the feet all the way down to the chest. If you're feeling really advanced, you can try the single leg bridge. So start off with the ball underneath your heels, and then you're going to keep your hips off the floor while slowly alternating between lifting one leg off the ball and then slowly back down again. Again, you're really squeezing in those tummy muscles and the muscles around the hips. A further variation you could try is to add in a little bit of rotation. Now what this will do is really get the muscles down the side of the trunk, your obliques, working hard. So get into that bridge position with the ball underneath your heels and then slowly rotate your hips from the left to the right. Do make sure you don't fall off, but it won't be long before you feel those abs really burning. Here's another hip extension based exercise to try and get those all important glutes nice and strong. You'll start off with the ball behind your back with your feet out in front of you, about hip width apart. Then you're going to drop your hips lower than your knees and then roll back on the ball and thrust your hips upwards, squeezing in those muscles around the hips and your abs. And then gently lower your hips back down below your knees. If you did want to progress the exercise, then you just need to add some additional load. I've just got a dumbbell here, but you can use whatever you can find at home. A rucksack with a few heavy books in or a few cans of food would probably do the job just as well. With all of these exercise variations, you don't have to do all of them. It's about picking which one is most appropriate for you and which one is adequately challenging. Now this is a great exercise for your inner thighs because you're going to have to squeeze the gym ball with your knees and also for your core. So at the same time, what you're going to do is let go of the ball with one leg and the opposite arm and then slowly lower them down to the floor. The trick here is I don't actually want you to touch either limb on the floor, and this will actually make things a little bit harder. We're going to do a few sit-ups now. So start off with the ball behind your back and your feet just past hip width apart. Have your hands either next to your ears or behind your head, and then really concentrate on squeezing those tummy muscles as your chest comes forwards and the top of your back comes off the ball. Now this is a really fun exercise. So you're going to start off with your hands probably just past shoulder width apart. Have the ball underneath your hips. Keep your legs together, squeezing those buttock muscles, and then you're going to raise your legs above your head. Now do try and do it nice and slowly and controlled, because if you do get a bit too vigorous, then it does feel like you're on a trampoline. Now we're going to move on to some plank variations. So this is probably one of the easier ones. You're going to have your forearms balancing on the ball and have your feet out behind you. You should really feel the muscles around your tummy and your hips working hard. A slightly more dynamic version of this would be to add in some hip flexion and some knee flexion. So you're going to bring your knee up to your chest and then slowly back down again, and you'll alternate between legs. A progression would be to come off your forearms and onto your hands. So you could hold that plank position for a few seconds, or you could add in the mountain climber type exercise. Now, one of the main differences between doing the plank on a stable surface like the floor and the gym ball is that not only will you be working on your core strength, but you'll also be challenging your proprioception an awful lot more. And proprioception is your body's ability to perceive where it is in space. This is a nice segue between the planks and the press-ups we're going to move on to in a second. Have the ball underneath your feet, your hands underneath your shoulders, and then you're going to bend your knees, bring the ball towards you, and then straighten your knees and push the ball out away from you. Now I'm going to show you a couple of different press-up variations you can try, but bear in mind, press-ups are obviously pretty difficult without the ball on a stable surface, so adding the ball in is only going to make things harder. Only give them a try if you're feeling confident. Option 1 is to push up directly onto the ball with your feet out behind you, and option 2 would be the opposite, so have the ball underneath your feet and then push up in an inclined position. We've made it. The last exercise, guys, is going to be a wall squat. So we're going to get our legs working with this one. Have your arms either out in front of you or across your chest. The ball will be between yourself and the wall, and then you're aiming for 90 degrees at the knee and 90 degrees at the hip. Do make sure your feet are far enough away from you. Otherwise, if they're too close, your knees will come over your toes, and that could get slightly uncomfortable. Now, I did say at the beginning of the video, if you did stay tuned until the end, I'd go through exactly how many of each exercise you're trying to achieve. So if we're trying to work purely on strength, we're really aiming for between 8 and 12 repetitions and 3 to 5 sets. So you'll do one exercise 8 to 12 times. You may have a 30-second, 1 minute or 2 minute break in between, and then you'll do that 3 to 5 times. If that sounds like too much today, that's absolutely fine. As long as the exercises are fatiguing you and challenging you, it will still stimulate some change in the muscles in order for you to get stronger. But what I would say is try and increase over the coming weeks and months so that you can work within those 8 to 12 repetition parameters. As always, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then please do give us a thumbs up. It really helps. And if you are new around here, subscribe down there so you don't miss any more of Genuine Physio's videos. There'll be some useful links in the description below, and come and say hi on all of the main social media platforms. But just before you go, I'd love to hear from you, so drop me a comment and let me know which exercise from today's video you found most useful. And until next time, I'll see you again very soon.